Hi, welcome to the webinar for Knowsley Community College, which we're going to find out a little bit more about the sport opportunities to study for September. So for the attendees who are here, thanks very much for logging in today. You're all on mute, all we can see is your names, so we can't see you, we can't hear you, and you'll not be able to engage with each other or with ourselves unless you use the chat panel, which is on the right hand side of the screen. So please use there to type in any questions. There's also a Q&A button where you can type in any questions and we'll either answer them as we go along or at the end of the webinar. So my name is Linda Manning. I'm here just to introduce the event and to tell you a very small amount about college and the provision there. But you'll hear a lot more from Pam Lynch. She's one of the tutors for sport at Knowsley College, and we'll be able to give you some detail about the course you'll be studying. So briefly, this is a very short presentation. Okay, so crucially, applications are still open. For the people watching this webinar, you'll fall into three main categories for ourselves. You may have applied early on in the year, attended college, had your interview, met with the tutors and had an offer of your conditional place. If so, that's fantastic and you're already boxed off. For people who have applied since we've gone into lockdown, you'll have had an acknowledgement and you could well have had a phone call from one of the tutors. If you haven't yet, that's likely to happen before the end of next week, just to firm up some details. But crucially, if you haven't yet applied and you're now considering applying to study at Knowsley to study sport, the web page listed below will tell you how to do so. So it's on knowsleycollege.ac.uk and there is a tab there for apply. Please, and I'll reiterate this message, it will be the most important thing which I say, make sure we have your correct phone number and contact details, especially your phone, can be landline, can be mobile, because that was the way that we're communicating with students during lockdown. So any particular information, maybe regarding enrolment, maybe regarding start dates, kit and so on, we will be communicating before we're physically back in the building via email and via phone number. So please make sure we have your correct details. Okay, these are other courses which run at Knowsley, including apprenticeships, and we have a guide via the web page, and the job shop there tells you present apprenticeships which you do have on site. To be honest, you're unlikely to find one within sport, and most people who are interested in sport do study the full-time courses, which Pam will tell you more about. College Pays is the way which college supports you once you come to college. So for 16 to 18-year-olds, there are free course fees, a free breakfast, that is as long as you're in college in good time. Say for instance, for a 9 o'clock start, we would expect you to be in college by 10 to 9. There are a free college bus routes, which can bring you in direct into college, college students only, and return you at the end of the day. And point 4 there mentions the free bus pass, which may be Mersey travel, maybe a Arriva, dependent upon where you live, but will bring you in on public transport and take you home, all paid for by college. You'll also have access to the free Microsoft Office suite and various student discounts. That's been a really strange year for all of us, staff and students alike. What this slide is showing you is we have a number of people at college who are there and their dedicated job is to support you, make sure you're safe and look after your well-being. So they have particular strengths and skills in dealing with things like mental health issues, homelessness, financial issues and so on. So if you are in a position where this year has thrown you a complete swerveball and you do need some help, don't worry, there is a full raft of people available at college besides your personal tutor who will be there to help and support you at all times. If you feel the need to make a link with somebody at the minute within college to talk about your additional needs, I will put my email address into the chat facility in a moment so that you can sort of liaise with us and we can put you in touch with someone who can help you. And finally, our social media channels, so Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, but most of the information does come through our webpage, the Knowsley webpage, where we are, as I say, as enrolment is sort of tied down, we will be issuing you the instructions. But most importantly, again, just to reiterate, your phone number and your email are crucial so we can talk to you. Right, I am now going to pass you over to Pam, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about studying sport.
Audio now, Linda.
Yep, there you go. Yep.
Hear me?
Oh,
I'll go through this and then if I go.
Here we go. We could hear you then, Pam.
Is that working?
Yeah, we can see that and we can hear you.
Right, okay. Right, so I'll go through the presentation. And then obviously, as Linda said, you can put questions to the side if you have any. So welcome to sport at KCC, first of all. Courses we offer include a level 1 introduction to the diploma sport, a level 2 certificate in sport and exercise science, a level 2 activity leadership, level 2 gym instructor, and a level 3 extended diploma in sport and physical activity. Okay, just to explain a little bit about that, what that means is really there is a level for you. Okay, so depending on your results, depending how well you do in your GCSEs, when you go and collect those on GCSE results day, will determine which level you come in at. So if you're wanting to do the level 3, you would need 5 GCSEs, grade 4 or above. Okay, if you're wanting to do the level 2, you would need 4 GCSEs, and if you're wanting to do the level 1, we usually ask for 2. Okay, so it will depend on how well you do in your GCSEs. Okay, the other thing to look at is the nature of the qualifications. So you'll notice that the activity leadership and the gym instructor, which just run at St Helens, they're very hands-on, they're very practical courses. So they're, if you know you definitely want to be a leader or you definitely want to be a gym instructor. If you're not sure, then the more generic courses are your level 1, which runs at KCC, your level 2, which runs at KCC, and your level 3, which runs at both sites. Okay, but obviously you're on the KCC offer, so presume that that's where you want to go. Okay, just moving on. Okay, so within sports, we expect certain things, probably cross college as well, but we're trying to develop you within the sort of ethos of sport, where we ask for excellent attendance, we ask for discipline, good timekeeping, good communication, and in fact, that list can go on and on. We have a lot of strong links with local primary schools, so you actually carry out work experience as part of your course, which looks really good on your CV, but it does require you to be very, very good, and we do ask for high standards in terms of how you are, because you will be teaching younger kids, you'll be working with primary school teachers with us, with our support. But if that is done well, that looks really good on your CV. Okay. Units you will complete. So again, depending on the level of study that you come in at, types of things you will study are anatomy and physiology, which is all about the body, bones, muscles, heart, lungs, nervous system, energy systems. We'll also look at some fitness testing. So you might, if you've done GCSE PE before or something like that, you might have touched on this. Things like bleep test, sit and reach test, leg and back dynamometer. We'll work with all the specialist equipment and teach you how to use that and how to execute the tests. There'll also be some sports coaching in there, as I previously mentioned, working with actual real kids. So we'll teach you how to coach, we'll teach you the principles of it, and then you'll actually carry that out on each other and also on primary school kids. Practical team sports, so you'll learn different sports so that then you are able to break them down, teach them, and develop for them. Leadership is similar to coaching, but just on a bit of a lower level. So at level 1 and level 2, you tend to do leadership, and then that develops to coaching at level 3. Organising sports events is where we put all those coaching and leadership skills into practice, and you organise either a Finally on here, there's sports massage. So if anybody's interested in being a sports therapist or a physiotherapist, this is often a good route to go down because it gives you the introduction into sports injuries and physiotherapy, which a lot of our students in the past have actually gone on to do. Okay, there are many more courses. So I'm going to put my email at the end. If you've got any questions or you want to ask anything, myself or Linda will reply. Okay, I'll move on. So life at college, okay, it's slightly different at college. We treat you like an adult as much as you sort of deserve. Okay, so you don't have to be in college all the time. You follow a timetable. So that will mean that you will have frees. You may have days off. Okay, so the level 1 is 2.5 days. The level 2 is 3.5. The level 3 is about 4 days because it increases in difficulty. But when you're not in college, you can be in doing sports activities or other things. You can be in doing work, or you can get a part-time job. So you manage your own time, which is part of us developing you and your time management. You will attend English and Maths unless you have a grade 4. So you must have a grade 4 in English and Maths, otherwise that will be put into part of your study programme, and that is as important as the sport that you attend. Last thing is facilities. So if you've been to KCC before, you'll see we've got fantastic sports facilities. We've got a gym, we've got a mugger, which has got 4 tennis courts on. We've got a full-sized AstroTurf. To the side, there's a field that we utilise for athletics during the summer and usually get a track painted on there. And then at the back, there's even football pitches. So there's a lot of facilities at Knowsley to use. On the other side, we also have facilities to support you in terms of computers, books. So everything's at your disposal, really, if you're wanting to join KCC. Okay, last thing I wanted to go through really was just a few trips that we've been on in the past, as well as your programme of study in college. With it being a sports course, we do try and bring it to life as much as possible and do trips to enrich your experience. So in the we didn't do this last year because we did NCS last year, which I'll talk about in a minute. But the year before and the year before that, we did a camping trip to Bibby's farm, which if you look at the top right, we actually sleep in bunk barns, so it's not as bad as it sounds. It's not tents. Okay, but we take all the sports students for a team building exercise at the start of term for about 2 nights, which the students usually really enjoy. Also, I've done a trip to Barcelona, not the year just gone with all the difficulties, but last year we went to New Camp, we went to the Olympic Stadium, we did some football and volleyball on the beach, and we also went to the Formula 1 track. So that was a really good experience. A lot of people hadn't been abroad, and it lent itself to some modules really well when looking at things like organising events where we were visiting an actual real live venue, and such an impressive one as New Camp. We also did last year the British gymnastics competition at Liverpool Echo. So we took a group of students there, again, to watch a big scale sporting event. It looks like a lot of girls on there, but there was a couple of lads in the group. Another one is some hill walking we do quite a bit of. We have public service courses that run at St Helens, and we do come together as a group sometimes and do things together. So the top pictures were sport and public service that did a walk up Movama in Wales. The bottom ones are just some sports students, and I think one of them is Rivington Pike as well. So various things, just getting out, doing some team building, developing communication, fitness in the great outdoors. Okay, this is the NCS trip that we did at the start of last year. If anyone's heard of it, it's National Citizenship Service. So all of our students went on a 4-day residential, and then they actually did a social action as well as that. So it was all about developing teamwork skills, communication, interpersonal skills, getting people to bond together. And you can see in the top left-hand picture how many people were on that trip, lots. We did various things like canoeing, high ropes. Not sure there's a picture on there. Stayed in these little pod things. We did a lot of team building activities in the woods, some fitness, some sport. So lots of different experiences that actually met criteria for throughout the year. And I think this is my last one. We've also got good links with St Helens Rugby Club. So we went to watch them a couple of times, and we've also had them come in to do some coaching with us, developing obviously generic coaching skills, but also specific to rugby, and visiting a venue again. St Helens Rugby also did wheelchair rugby with us. So looking at a sport from a different perspective, which feedback from the students was really good for that. Just something a bit different, really. And everyone got to have a go. We did a 6-week block of this, and it was very well enjoyed. Okay, I'll say any questions, but you can't shout those out. The other thing I'll just share is, oh, I haven't put the contact details. Did I skip past contact? I've lost my slide that had our contact details on. Shall I just write it in the chat, Linda?
Yeah, or I can. If you want to go ahead.
Yeah. Right, so my email address is plynch@Knowsley, put me on the spot, Knowsley College.
Or are you still down as P Green?
I'm plynch on the email.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
.ac.uk. Yeah, it can be confusing.
Okay, I found that really, really informative. And even though we're doing this on Zoom, so it can seem a little bit sterile even, you had so many shots of the facilities, the grounds, and describing. I suppose for a college, we're really heavy in the facilities which we're able to offer outside, especially.
Yeah.
And I found it really useful to see so many of the trips and visits pictures in as well. I mean, hopefully we can get those literally off the ground again quite soon. So do any of the attendees want to ask any questions at this stage? If you're thinking it, probably somebody else is as well, so please go ahead and ask. Don't feel at all silly. And then what I whilst you're just got a minute or two to think about that, I just wanted to reiterate again, it's so important that we've got your correct contact details so that we know how to let you know how enrollment's going to run, and the run up to timetabling and lesson starts and what have you. So please let us know. You've got both of our contact details in there if you want to get in contact. Okay, no questions? Okay, right, I'll end the webinar now then. I'd like to thank you for attending. I'd like to thank Pam for being so entertaining. And we hope to meet up with you in the flesh sometime soon. Thanks for logging on. Bye-bye.